but I can see you.
So, we just found a hominoid track in a cow patty. Now that is cool. Look at that, man. So these are great frames. We've got an individual, a darker one. We can see the side of his ear here. We can see the whole head, the eyes, and it's got like a little hair running down in his face. But you can see this whole thing. Well, it's got its hand up in front of this other creature's face, or this one has its hand up. There's a couple creatures in here, and there's other stuff going on here, and this footage is like that. But take a look at this hand. Look at this hand right here, man. You can see the fingers, and it's up in front of that other one's face, and you can see the other one in there as well. But how about this dark individual here? How big is that guy? That was a good frame of him, and this is a full-grown palm tree, so this could be an 8 to 10 foot individual, and this one underneath him, and you can see that hand plainly. I mean, guys, the scenario here is we're walking along, and here they are in the bushes ahead of us, and they're watching us, and you can see that one's got his hand up, and you can see the head of this one. We got his whole side profile there. And then he kind of fades when the one in front of him, you got the hand and then that face. So one of them has a hand up in front of that other guy's face. And we can see this guy right here is incredible too. Let's zoom in a little bit more. And you can take a look at this creature that's above him. It looks like, there's a bunch of them in here. And we already looked at that guy's hand, so we know it's cutting off half of this one's face that's, closer to the ground. And as that renders, we're gonna get a really good look at this creature. I mean, this guy, I kind of went through here, and he doesn't come clear except at the beginning, and that's because this thing right here is coming in so good. So we're gonna take a look at that, and you can see there's a creature in there, one of those achromatic creatures right there on the ground, and even this other one, you can see his eyes now in there, and this is something on the side here. Is it another one? I'm not sure, but this is how they group together, and you can see this guy in here real good now. Wow. And here we are, we're just walking by, we don't even notice. So that's the value of reviewing film. You get to see the craziness that was in the bushes with you.
It's probably 6 months ago or so. I haven't really been out further south from where we've been collecting the hares, out that way on the south side. And cows, you can hear them way off in the distance, just barely a faint little moo. And then all of a sudden, it almost put me in like a trance state for the level of frequency was in it. It was weird. It was like a moo. It just like sang like fucking soprano for like 10 seconds. Moo. And I'm going, am I hearing shit? Am I losing my mind? Like, what the hell is this? And I didn't hear anything after that, but right where it kind of came from, there was about 30 yards away, was a big creek bed, and there's a canopy that ran alongside of it. It wasn't a very thick canopy. I didn't dare go over there. It was like, but it almost like, I don't know, it almost like made me feel peaceful for the level of like the sound of it. It was weird. It was just freaking weird.
So initial incursions into the habitat have shown us that the creatures will occupy spots in the prairie on the way to the habitat, which makes hiking there even more dangerous. It's approximately a half a mile into the actual habitat that we've been working, where we're starting to find all the signs of the giants and then catch them on film. This individual is several hundred yards outside the tree line in open prairie. We can see right here, we've got this face. We've got the left eye right here, and you can even see light reflecting off the back of that nocturnal eyeball. That's these creatures and their ability at night to see. You can witness that they have that ability by seeing that ball glow in their eye like that underneath the shelf of that forehead, which sticks out inches. This is a big forehead right here, and you can see the creature in here. Nostrils, the big wide flat nose, it looks like a triangle. These are aspects that are common within the symmetry of these creatures, and seeing it when it's blending in, you have to begin to recognize this kind of stuff. It appears that there's a smaller creature in front and some hair. It could be off the top of this one's head, as we can plainly see the hairline right there and the beginning of the brow here in this area. I don't know what this is. Could be other creatures. Appears to be the other parts of what is obviously a group of them. Looking at the size of the individual is another aspect. Just ahead of us, as a matter of fact. In these situations, when we enter the actual habitat and start to shoot, it's very obvious when something's going on. Our cameras begin malfunctioning, and we have to shoot all of this footage that you're reviewing right now with secondary cameras because our primary zoom lens cameras are malfunctioning. We're not sure what goes on here, but when you enter the exact habitat the creatures are staged up in, it's as if you've entered a vacuum. From sound to the way it feels, something is off. I look for the phenomenon, and then I start shooting. This is kind of stuff we typically see in the Sasquatch habitats in their little territories, man. We got live trees being pushed over in the middle of...
They are at an angle, but that one's pushed over and has a bow to it.
You can see there's pine cones on that tree, man. This tree is alive, and it's been just complete. And that's a big damn pine tree too, man. Bryan, walk over that tree. Walk over that tree. Look at the scale on this. This is a big pine tree, dude. So you tell me, what pushes these kind of trees over and strips the bark off from 30 feet to the ground? It doesn't surprise me that, we're learning how to document the creatures. The size of the individuals here of late is the difficult part, but it's repetitive and it's obvious, and it is what it is. And so now that we've identified some of the areas that they will be in besides the thick forest in the back, we can start employing new techniques and new experiments, and that's the idea, right? So we're engaged in a process, and what you just watched is one step in that process. And now that we have identified several different spots within the open prairie where these creatures are observing human activity, that's us, sticking to human trails, right? We know where to point the good cameras. Now all we have to do is make it, hopefully, through the whole shoot and get the footage out without our cameras and our memory cards and the footage being destroyed. That's the hard part. That's been the hardest part. Finding Bigfoot is the easy part. We're in the editor and we're taking a look at a clip. Here is what the clip actually looks like, right? Actual distance to the tree line. There's a huge individual in there, but you can't tell he's in there. He's blending in. And this is the individual. He's hiding behind the trees right here. He's huge. And the cool part about this guy, you can see him right there, is he's changing colors. This guy is demonstrating perfectly in 2 frames, 2 1/60ths of a second, that their color change happens. And it really comes down to being about that fast. And so you get confused looking at it. 2 1/60ths of a second. There he is. This is what you see when you're there. Again, you don't see much. That's natural light. He's standing in there watching as I film. He's waiting on an apple, and that's really what I'm looking at. You'd never know. You'd never know, looking at that tree line, that there's a 10-foot hominoid staring back at you. It just doesn't equate. And yet, there he is.